And now Peter Boghossian is going to discuss what are the consequences for the culture war in the wake of a Trump victory. Peter, over to you.
When a wild dog is captured or cornered, it becomes even more ferocious. I have a sobering message for the people here. If you think a Trump victory is going to make the enemies of civilization, the enemies of cognitive liberty, the enemies of civility itself, any kind of basic freedom, to quote the famous poem, go quietly into this good night, I have a sobering message for you. You're a fool. You're grossly mistaken. That will not happen. I predict that we will see a ferociousness and a tenacity and a pathological vengeance upon the people and the cronies that we have thrown out of office. The people have basically terrorized the United States and the rest of the world for, at the very minimum, of 12 years. So let's take a look at that landscape. What does it look like? And who holds the levers of power? Here's what we're fighting right now. In my opinion, the most important battle is in the academies. All of our academies are controlled by woke maniacs. All of them. If you look at and this is not these are not my data points, the foundation's FIRE, Greg Lukianoff's organization does an excellent job of breaking down right, left. I don't think that those are very useful demarcations any longer, but just as a placeholder, we can use them. The overwhelming majority of college professors are in the far left camp. That would be one thing, but they're identitarians, as many people on the panel have discussed. So we have the control of the academies still belongs to the far left, not merely the left. The control of teacher colleges of education, where teachers become certified, is controlled by the far left. The media landscape. Now, the good thing about this, the positive news, and this is not a kind of Pollyanna optimism, the positive news is that the media has been damaged tremendously from this. The legacy media, I wouldn't say that it's in tatters, but it's taken a blow. If you look at the number one, if you want one single indication of who will vote for whom, it boils down to a single sentence. How much do you trust legacy media? The higher the trust in legacy media, the more likely they are to vote Democrat. So let's take a look at the broader culture war. 4 or 5 things pop to mind. One thing, which is crazy, you have normal crazy, and then you have extra crazy. Anything with trans is extra crazy. So, for example, there's someone, Itan Haim, who blew the whistle on doctors mutilating the genitals of children in surgeries. And Dr. Haim, instead of being given an award and thanked, was prosecuted by, you probably are very familiar with this, yeah. He was prosecuted by the full extent of the law, and he told me in an interview in no uncertain terms, if the Democrats get in, he's going to go to a federal penitentiary for exposing the people who have mutilated the genitals of children. He will go to a federal penitentiary. The story is really, I know someone's thinking, well, there's got to be something, but there's actually really nothing more to it than that. Okay, so we have the trans issue. We have the quote-unquote transing children under 18. You cannot change your sex, by the way. It's not even a myth. There's some great stuff. If you have a chance, you want to look up the work of Mia Hughes, which has exposed something called the WPATH files. So the trans war, it plays large in a culture war. Things that 20, 30 years ago played in the culture war, for example, abortion plays much less of a culture in the culture war. Other things now have come to the fore, freedom of speech. Again, the same ideologues, the same vicious ideologues who control the organs of the media, the organs of what ought to be independent. These are the people who will double down. These are the people who come with a ferocious tenacity. And part of the problem is that they have jobs for life. They're tenured. They're not going anywhere. and they look at the institutions to forward very specific messages to indoctrinate people, very specific conclusions. So you can think about this in right or left. I personally prefer not to think about that. I prefer to think about it in terms of cognitive liberty. The people who want to tell you what to think and what to believe were just thrown out of office. And don't you for a single second think that these people are going to be happy about this and say, well, you know, this is really unfortunate. This is really unfortunate we lost. These people will come back with a ferocity and a tenacity that I do not think that we have seen in a long, long time. So I leave you with this message. Now is not the time to rest on your laurels. Now is the time to work. Now is the time, right now when we have momentum, using institutions like the Danube Institute, is the time to fight back and put that final nail in the coffin of the divisive madness which has thrown society off of a cliff in the last 12 years. Thank you.